What's your least favorite book ever?
Kyle Richards. Life is not a reality show.
Oh my God, that's my least favorite book ever too. No way.
Kyle Richards. This book is a
I call this one Kyle Richards, Sharon made me finish. I wanted to take a nap on the plane. Hi, this is Caitlin.
And this is Sharon.
And welcome to Real Housewives on Real Housewives, where we unravel housewives' story threads and keep the tea flowing.
So chic.
Hold on to your reading glasses. Tonight we're hosting our third book club. This one is Kyle Richards' book, Life is Not a Reality Show. And just a quick reminder, we have the questions that we're going to answer on our website. So you can go to www.rhonrh.com and pull up the link and see the questions if you want to see them in advance.
Yeah. So this book was actually written in 2012. So that was a little over 10 years ago. My one sentence summary, just to put it all in context for you guys, is Kyle gives anecdotes about her life while she offers advice on relationships, fashion, beauty, and home decor.
Yep. 2012 is before we even had kids. So that's to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
I guess we were housewives, but we weren't like kid housewives.
No, I wasn't. I was a working woman then.
That's right. We had responsibility.
Or I was in school. I was either working or I was in college.
Hey, that's still a responsibility. Sometimes that's a worse responsibility. Okay, so our first question was, okay, I feel like there's going to be a caveat about how we feel about this book, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
What was the best part of this book? What did you like about this book? The hot tea.
Here's my first note. I wrote, it got better toward the end, or I just got used to it.
I feel like that's like when someone says something to you and you're looking for like that little detail, like, you know, like your kid writes something and you're like, you know, the way you wrote your sixes here, beautiful.
I do actually have some. Okay, I thought she had some good advice throughout the book. There were a few items. The ones that stuck with me were if you're in doubt about wearing something for any reason, don't wear it.
Yeah, that
like if you're like, oh, it's uncomfortable, or I don't know, don't wear it. Be wary of a guy if he treats others poorly.
That is good advice.
And you must come across confident.
That's good too.
Oh, and I found out that she took Lexapro, which made me laugh because Erica took Lexapro and then Caitlin took Lexapro, and I was like, this is the official SSRI of Housewives.
Page 2 of my notes in big bold print. What does it say? She took Lexapro. Could have told Erica that.
Yeah, surely she drank on it.
I couldn't have. I felt like she was like sitting on that information. Yeah. What was up with that? That's weird to me.
So what did you like about it?
The only part... Okay, well, we'll do the worst part in a second. So I'll try to set that to the side. But the part that I was looking forward to when I was partway through and I was like, how much longer is this book? Was I wanted to get to the chapter on her hair because I do think she has gorgeous hair. So the chapter, My Main Philosophy, M-A-N-E, that says all you need to know about the book, by the way. Because I do think her hair is legendary. And then I thought it was really interesting that what she mostly uses is Pantene. Now, I was annoyed that she didn't say which varietal of Pantene because I couldn't just run right out and buy it. But I used to be very, very loyal to Pantene before I had Henry, and my hair got all oily and destroyed, and still don't know what happened. I love Henry, but what he did to my hair
it's not rough.
So I don't use that anymore. And then she put Moroccan oil on her hair too. But she doesn't put shampoo on the ends of her hair. I don't understand that. And then she puts Moroccan oil in her hair after she blow dries, which for me would just upset the oils. I
understand. I've heard that before where you do your scalp and then kind of the soap is washing. Okay. So you're not drying out the ends. Down. Yeah. So the shampoo, you kind of just you go like this, where's right?
Yeah. So the scalp's where the oils are. So you're redistributing.
And then as far as I think that's just your hair type. She has thick hair. If I put Moroccan oil on my hair after I dried it.
Right. Mine would be
it would be like an oil fest.
Exactly. So I did like hearing how she does her hair, but that was the best part for me. So that kind of tells you how we feel about the book. Okay, so what was the worst part? What didn't you like about the book, the iced tea?
Would you like to start?
Sure. For me, it was the writing. It was a saccharine voice. It felt like I don't want to insult my fourth grader, but it felt like how my fourth grader writes, like so many exclamation points and questions. Yes. It's like when my kids don't know what to write, they'll be like, what did I like best about this book? I liked the part with the dog! Exclamation point. It's like...
Yes. And I had the same thought because... Yeah. And I'm someone in a text that will use a lot of emojis or exclamation points. Because,
we LOL all the time.
Yeah, because, you know, it's hard to tell tone sometimes. Yes. But in this book, it's like you could tell when... You could tell the tone from the book. She did not need the exclamation points.
Because it made it just seem like she was a not good writer. And I don't believe that. Like, I think that Kyle is smart. I think...
Did she write this book?
I don't know. If a ghostwriter wrote it, I hope she did.
I don't know if I hope she did or she didn't. I don't know what's worse.
Maybe Portia wrote it.
Portia wrote it.
And the worst thing was she said, ha ha, so many times.
Yes.
Ha ha,
oh
ha
my
ha.
God.
And it's like, okay, we used to do that before LOL was invented. So that does put into context the time frame of the book.
Oh, God,
but again,
no.
Stop saying ha ha.
But it was like something where ha ha wasn't necessary. Like, we got it.
Yeah.
We're not dumb.
No,
we could understand what you were writing.
It wasn't like, and then I did something terrible. Ha ha.
Yeah, it wasn't like, Caitlin, bring me a Diet Coke, and I have to add a smiley face.
Yeah.
So she knows I'm not bossing her around.
Whatever.
You know, I could tell from the book what she was doing.
Now I want you to write ha ha. I also didn't realize it was going to be an advice and relationship book. So I think this is like the first time that we have in our 3-book history, but we didn't deal with a biography. Mm-hmm. I thought there would be more of a biography, and this was an advice book.
Yeah, and I'm actually this is a question later, but we'll do it now. I thought this was an issue. So it says, Kyle Richards' Life is Not a Reality Show. And then the, subtitle is Keeping It Real with the Housewife Who Does It All.
Yeah.
I thought that should have said something like advice from the housewife that does it all.
Advice.
Because when I started reading it, I was surprised too. I was like, oh, that's not right.
I felt like, did I not understand what we got ourselves into? And I feel like you should be able to quickly skim a front and back of book and kind of know whether you're reading a biography or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Also, the relationship advice felt a little cringy, but we can talk about that more later too.
I have, if you want, that's actually, I have a lot of bullets about what I don't like.
Receipts.
Do you want me to go into
it? Go for
it. So first of all, I think the book was very vapid. I'll start with that.
Yes, because, the advice was very Kyle specific. Did you feel like, but I mean, did you feel like that's like, if I was Kyle Richards and I read this book, now I know what to do. But a lot of it was just, right? I don't feel like it was universal advice.
That's a really good point. I never would have thought of that.
Caitlin's advice for future Caitlin.
Well, so I felt like a lot of the advice on hair, clothes were things I've read like in Allure or like a million times. Advice. Oh, you mean if I get my clothes tailored, they'll look better on me? Like, oh, no joke.
They'll fit.
Like, I never thought of that. It's like, well, Mm-hmm. But what really I hated the most about this book was it seemed like it was out of the 1950s, the men-women relationship dating. It almost reminded, do you remember, what was it called? Like The Rules?
Yes.
That book where women have to basically like go back to these old standards to attract a man and keep a man. And I have many pages. Did you want to talk about that all first?
No, not really. Okay. I found a book like that when David's grandparents were gone and we were kind of like at their house and stuff. And I found this book. I forget what it's called, but I think it's called like The Happily Married Mistress or something. It is the most like anti-feminist manifesto. Like I'm sure that someone probably gave it to David's grandma when they got married because that woman was a feminist. But like it was just we read it and laughed and laughed and laughed. And so like it's funny when you're like this was written in the early 1900s. It's not funny when it's written in 2012 when my nephew was born.
Yes, an anti-feminist. I was like looking for the word. Yeah. So here's some examples. Page 6 regarding clothes. I understand the challenge of looking nice and put together for your husband when you've been running around like a maniac all day. She does not understand. No, I understand. You do not understand.
I feel like, and maybe this is the problem with my marriage, Kyle, but I feel like it's like my husband is the one person who would understand why I look like crap running around. I feel like I have to look nice for other people. Yes. But I feel like at home, I should be able to wear my ratty sweatshirt that I love.
And I'm just doing a handoff. Like when Thomas gets home, I'm like,
he's not.
They're all yours. Like
you're dressed so fancy. No.
Page 37. She says that women can express themselves sexually, but quote, that doesn't mean that doing so won't have consequences.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That felt very, I don't know, like, I don't want to say like poodle skirt era, but it feels like, well, I'm not trying to blame the woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to blame the woman. Like, again, that doesn't even need to be said.
Yeah. She did throw in a lie by the cow when you can get the milk for free.
Yeah.
She threw in one of those. Oh, the other one, she doesn't like guys' nights or girls' nights out because it's like tempting fate that maybe one of you would stray. And she says, I quote, I figure you can see your friends at lunch. What?
So you're going to cheat in the evening, but not during lunch?
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the problem. First of all, when we do a girls' night, we go to Olive Garden.
Oh, I know. And none of us are prowling for men.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah. We're not like flirting with men. We don't even talk to men.
That reminded me a little bit of like, she also said about Kathy and Rick, her sister Kathy. Uh-huh. She kind of said that like she got a lot from their relationship and she learned how to speak to each other. And but she also said that like Kathy and Rick never did like boys trips, girls trips. And remember when they went on that trip, Kathy was like, I've never done a girls trip before and stuff. So maybe that is just sort of like a family thing. But then also because I've been so immersed in Vanderpump Rules during all this drama and trying to catch up. But there does seem to be a problem in LA with when, at least on that show, like when either boys go out or girls go out and then all this cheating happens. So maybe it's an LA thing.
It must be.
I just don't feel like when we send the guys out, like also like
they're playing video games.
Go do stuff.
I have like zero fear of them cheating.
Maybe it's where we live. I know. It's just not a town of huge debauchery, but like maybe in bigger cities, it's a bigger deal.
And then where she wrote, I figure you can see your friends at lunch. This was upsetting to me because I kind of noted, unless you're at work or you have little kids at home, I have triplets at home.
Yeah.
When Caitlin and I get together for lunch, it's really about wrangling them and we get some, we talk, but it's not like we enjoy
your time to go out
a lunch. Yeah.
Like, that's your time because the kids are sleeping.
Sorry, this just makes me so mad.
Yeah. There was a lot about this book that pushed my buttons.
Sorry, I will try. I just can't not say it. I'm sorry.
Get it out.
Page 46, she talks about how she goes out to dinner with Mauricio and another couple. And Kyle starts talking about a lip gloss because the other woman tells her she likes it. And Kyle's like, oh, thank you. It's sparkly, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden she thought, what am I doing? If I had to sit through 10 minutes of a man talking about his cologne, I would say I'm leaving the table now. And I was thinking to myself, why can't she and the other woman talk about lip gloss?
Right.
And then the guy and the other guy can talk about sports or cologne. Like, can they not have separate conversations?
What when we go out often. Like, we sit across from each other and our husbands sit across from each other and we don't
now I can't talk to you about what I want to talk to you about?
That's weird. I feel like that's like a really old-timey etiquette thing.
Yeah.
And then, also, so what if the men wanted to talk about sports? You can't just sit and let them... I mean, I don't think someone should like steal the whole conversation.
But on page 47, she said, I even tried to talk about sports with my husband, which is amazing because I couldn't care less about sports. So does that mean he doesn't have to listen to her talk about...
Yeah, but she has to learn about the sports ball?
Oh, I'm so
That's annoying. And I feel like that's the exact culture of like denying who you are and why women get to these points in their life where they're like, I don't know who I am and I don't know what I like.
Yeah, and then you want to divorce.
And I know I did that a little bit, like marrying young and like dating one person for the majority of my life. There is a point where I'm like, oh, this is what we like, but what do I like? And I feel like that's just completely and utterly, not even accidentally falling into that trap. That's like forcing yourself into that trap. Like nobody really cares what you think and what you like.
Yeah.
But what is your husband like? That's what your hobby is.
Yeah. He can't even sit through a conversation of yours.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Oh, another one, page 52. She said she once sent herself flowers, quote, from a secret admirer. And all I could think was Clueless, the movie. Doesn't she do that?
She does, yes.
Okay.
But doesn't it seem less offensive than Clueless? I don't know, Kyle. And I love she and Mauricio as a couple. So I don't know why I find this advice so upsetting.
I'm sorry, I have a couple more.
No, go for it. Let's brag on it.
Page 68. She says, like, keep yourself looking good because, quote, but he's been working all day and really, do you want him to come home to see you in sweats, your hair a wreck, and find smelly, poopy diapers in the can?
I do.
I try to look nice when Mauricio comes in the door and we always kiss because that's a rule. And I wrote, you should see what I wrote, it's all caps. Yeah. I wrote, what the ever-loving.
I'm hoping he notices the diapers and takes them out.
Yes, exactly.
And if you're dressed nicely, he's not going to see the poopy diapers and then the diapers aren't going to get taken out.
And then she said, when men say, why don't you go out and buy a little something? A woman here smacks out the credit card. This annoyed me more than it like infantilizes.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the Tom thing. Remember, you can't buy jewelry. I buy jewelry.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's not your money. You don't tell me to go max it out and not max it out, and I do what I want.
And also, I don't ever want to hear somebody's. I mean, as much as I would like to go buy myself something pretty,
I don't need your permission.
I don't want someone to go tell me. I can find Zulily on my own, okay?
And there is one more thing, and this is the thing I hate worst of all. She said when they eat at a restaurant, quote, we sit very close together.
Yes.
So that means they're same-side sitters.
Yes, they're same-side
sitters. And I hate same-side sitters. I can't handle it. Thomas knows I hate same-side sitters. Oh, my God. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to remember that if you're ever sitting at a restaurant. I will sit right next to
I'll let you take it from here because I talk too much.
Yeah, did you get your therapy?
Yeah, I did. That was most of it.
No, I think we have to be clear about what was so upsetting in the book, because it's one thing for us to sit here and say, I didn't like it. It was written like a fourth grader. But it's like you guys have to understand, because I just kind of like generally was like, bleh. But it's like, I think you have to understand what it is that's so shocking. And also when you think about, Kyle's a pretty strong housewife. She's not one of those just like roll over and is quiet, and like she's very take charge, and she goes on all these things, and she does these things without Mauricio. So I find this advice very weird.
I did too.
I mean, now that you're saying that, maybe she did just put her name on somebody else's writing.
I was like, when I read this, I was like, is Kyle really like this? She's very different than what I thought.
Because I kept thinking, well, I guess she's just gone through like an evolution, but that's a big evolution.
Gosh.
Like, did she just learn about the feminist movement? And was like, so how long did it take you to finish the book? Did you have to force yourself to read it, or you couldn't put it down? You had to force myself to read it.
I forced Caitlin to read it.
Sharon was like, God, we have to read the book. I tried to read it. I mean, I couldn't even read it on vacation when I wasn't stressed. Like, I tried to read it on the plane and I fell asleep. And then I tried to read it before last week's recording session and I fell asleep. So, yeah, I mean, we did this for you, dear listener, not for us.
We took one for the team.
What about you? I mean,
I started it on the trip to Hawaii. I never read it on the whole vacation in Hawaii, even though I
think that's weird that neither of us could.
Yeah, it was, and then I had to read it like. I actually told Caitlin, I was like, we have to read this or we will forget. And I don't want to have to go back and reread this because it's really bad. So I was like, we have to do this episode. So yeah, I had to force myself to finish it. I could have ended it at any point and never looked at it again.
Once I got moving a little bit, it did go fast. But to be honest, I skimmed a bit too because I just was like, oh, I just can't. And I remember like I hit chapter like 5 or 6 and I was like, how many more chapters could there be? Like, there's nothing more to say. Like, I just really felt like you're done. Like, except we hadn't gotten to the hair yet, I think, at that point. Were there any parts of the book you thought were incredibly unique, out of place, thought-provoking, or disturbing? We kind of did disturbing.
Yeah.
So I put, like, unique in the sense that she was one of the first housewives to write a book. Like, she's one of the earlier... I mean, now there's a lot of housewives books. She was one of the pioneers in that category, I suppose. There's, like, a uniqueness about that. I didn't think that there was much thought-provoking. And I did not enjoy, like, the man tips. Like, the one quote I wrote in the angry letters was like, it's about being fluent in the language of men. Oh, I
actually... and speaking to them, like, in a way they can understand.
Yeah, because A, it makes men sound dumb, and it makes women sound dumb. Yeah. Like, in one sentence, you just, like, taken the whole human race back. Like, and, like, there was a whole chapter, like, learn the language of men. Wasn't there, like, I feel like it's called something like that. And I felt like it was, like, a really terrible graduation speech at, like, an all-girls college that, like, went on too long, and, like, you're hungover, and you just go back to bed. Like, that's what I felt. And then also, and it made me kind of mad because I realized it's also like very heteronormative. Like it's only women with men. Oh, like her advice is fully like, it's not just like in a relationship.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Think about it, it's like sometimes men take on more of a women role or vice versa. Exactly. Like you shouldn't have to go, this is how women are and this is how men are. It's like,
it's very stereotyped roles. There is no other way.
No other interpretation.
I put... I had a couple questions. She said, page 72, I don't hold grudges with anyone in my life. And I was trying to think, is this true for the show? And I was trying to think, I was like, does she? Yeah. Does she not?
That's actually interesting.
And I can't really think of a huge grudge.
She does seem to let it go more. Yeah, I think she doesn't understand why other people hold grudges. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. And then the other thing, it explained one thing interesting. It explained, do you remember in season 1 where her sister Kim says,
yes,
you stole my house or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
She explains the situation, which was basically like they bought Kim out of the house and then Kim wanted back. And it didn't sound, Kyle and Mauricio were in the right. I think Kim was wrong.
Although when you think about, because I think I put it under the, like, another question, but she does hold a grudge against Kim because she's certainly mad about the whole alcoholic thing. Like, there's a lot of baggage there. So she does hold some baggage. Maybe she means with, like, non-family members. What was the best new thing that you learned?
Nothing.
Okay, I liked how she did use low-priced makeup and products. Like, her list of stuff wasn't super expensive.
I know, but here's the thing.
Do you think she actually uses it?
She might. She very well may. But if she only used expensive stuff, she still would have wrote that. She's not going to come out and write a book that's like, I'm a real wife and I use
gold
Chanel, makeup all the time. Like, she's trying to relate to us. And the funny thing is, she's trying to relate to us.
Yeah.
And she did such a bad job because we cannot relate to each other.
No,
and that's
almost
fine.
A bigger space than I would have thought there would be. Because she's one of the more relatable housewives.
Yeah. And it's fine. I mean, I like her. I could be friends with her, even though we have zilch, kind of in our lives. But it just made me realize how different we were when she's trying to relate to me. And I was like, no, that's not how my life is at all.
I know. That's true. She does use L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara, though. And my mom has used that for years. It's the one with the gray bottom and the gold top. So I need to hey, Mom, by the way, Kyle uses your mascara. But again, she didn't list if it was the black or the black brown or I need specifics if you're going to be throwing these out here.
She does say she does her own makeup, and I do think she has beautiful makeup. So I'm pretty impressed with that.
Because when you think about it in the olden days, I don't think glam squads were the norm. I think that's a newer thing.
Yeah, she had to learn that.
Yeah. Do you have any lingering questions after finishing the book? I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Do you think she really doesn't have a nanny? Like, okay, she said that multiple times, but I thought maybe when she wrote the book, but like especially after she continues to be a housewife and the production amount of time goes up, the places they travel goes up. Like, Mauricio's not just watching the kid every time she's gone. Like, he has a job too.
She might not. Okay, so in some of the shows they have like a housekeeper or assistant, and they kind of watch. Like, I'm almost wondering if there's some kind of role like that.
That could be,
because there's no way.
Is that her oldest daughter is like babysitting?
That's true.
That's not really. Okay, you don't use a nanny, but like
you're using
really
somebody.
lucky to have a huge range of age children that the rest of us don't have. Like,
that's the only other way I could see it working.
Yeah, because our kids aren't that far apart that we could just leave one and go out of town with our kids.
We'd like to.
Yeah. I'm trying to think on how that would work, but I don't think it would. Yeah. Okay, also,
go ahead.
Do you remember the part that she said, like, I always tell my husband that being married is like taking care of a plant. It has to be watered every day and you cannot ignore it. My husband and I can't take each other for granted and we both have to tend to our relationship every single day. And I wrote, like, Sharon and I would be screwed because we have no green thumbs and we're terrible at plants.
That just, as soon as he started saying that, I was just like, oh my God, this explains so much. No, I'm kidding. I can't keep plants alive.
Yeah. We've kept our marriages alive longer than our plants, okay?
My question was, page 209, she says, I've never had my lips or my boobs done, and that's just the way it is. And I'm wondering, is that still true? Because it's been 10 years, and she looks like she's had plastic surgery. Definitely around her eyes, it looks like it, but I don't know about her lips or her boobs.
Did she have her nose done?
She did.
In the more recent one, yeah. And she was honest about it.
Yeah. So I'm curious.
Yeah, maybe not having.
She may be, because maybe she kind of
normal, but
now that now that I'm talking this through, when she says that, it almost sounds like I don't really do plastic surgery, but if you can still do a lot to your eyes.
That it's not plastic surgery.
That is like she didn't say I don't do anything to my eyes.
Yeah, that's true. And you're right. Like, it's one thing to say that in however old she was when she wrote this, but like 5-10 years. Personally, I've noticed makes a big difference.
I sure have a lot more wrinkles than 10 years ago.
Exactly. How honest do you think the author was? I think she has a really skewed view of herself and maybe just her life. That's not fair to say. I'm sure everyone does. But it's like she's showing the parts that make herself look the best. Yeah. Like, I felt like not the only, maybe I should have written only, but like the one part was when she said, like, you have to take time for yourself and become comfortable with who you are before looking for a man. And I was like, okay, finally. Like, that's what I think women need to hear.
Yeah.
But that's hidden in so much other stuff that I don't even know if you catch it. And there's a part of me that doesn't really believe that she believes this advice.
I hope she doesn't.
Hope not. Maybe it's wishful thinking because we like Kyle.
Yeah, I'm worried she does.
Yeah. That's
and then
scary.
she's not who I thought she was. I mean, I still like her, but I'd like her a lot less.
I thought you were.
You're not.
It's almost like this might not be real.
Yeah,
I did not like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Did reading the book change your view of the author? I mean, I guess that's kind of what you're saying, or the Housewives franchise.
I really like Kyle in the show, but as I read this book, I'm wondering, is this the real Kyle? And maybe I don't like her.
Right. I think what you said is true. If that's the case, that's exactly how I would feel too. I don't think it changed anything about the franchise. I did think...
She doesn't talk that much about the franchise.
No, the only thing that I thought was interesting was that she talked about how she and Kim really begged production not to use the fight where she calls Kim an alcoholic. And I do remember initially, I think they didn't show all of that fight. Like, I remember that season being a little confused. Like, is that what she was calling her? Like, I feel like they got them to pull some stuff around it. So it was kind of a little more implied. But then as everything went on and they had the reunion and everything, it all came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved that young picture of there was her when she was younger with a younger Bethany Frankel from Real Housewives of New York. Because like they knew each other when they were younger. That was fun.
That's kind of cool.
But I wanted more Housewives stuff.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to use Housewives. Well, I guess she uses reality in the title, not Housewives. But
she's saying it's not a reality show.
Right. But could it be a Housewives show?
I know, exactly.
What do you think is the most important takeaway from the author's story?
I hear it.
What should
have pretty long hair. Have your nails done, or else you're a loser who doesn't care about how you present yourself. And family is important.
Yeah. I wrote, Kyle believes she's not your typical rich person. She believes she's what you see is what you get. I mean, I think that's the draw to her, that she believes that. And I honestly believe that from watching the show. I don't believe that from reading the book. Like, she's so relatable in the show. Like, you'd want to be her friend. Even though she's rich. She's
not relatable in the book.
But she's not, exactly. And that's what's so confusing.
Yeah, because we had a question. Well, can you relate to the author? Did you make any notes about
Not when she says things like, mostly I'm a wife and a mother who puts her children at the absolute center of her world. Like, what mom doesn't?
Yeah.
I think that's so unfair because I felt like that was like a challenge. Like, if you don't have that tattooed on your arm, then you're not a good mom. Like, again, maybe that just hurt my feelings. But I think every mother thinks her children are at the center of her world. That's not fair. And just because you work outside the house, or you get frustrated with your children, or you're tired all the time, like that doesn't mean that your children aren't the most important thing to you. Yeah. And then she also spends half the book saying, well, your children are important, but also put on a great show for your man.
Yeah. Which takes away time from
There's only so many hours in the day, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have a stylist.
The only thing I could relate to her on is that she's short. She and I both have 4 daughters.
That's true. Okay, I didn't think about that.
She likes coffee.
Yeah.
But one of the things she wrote, talking about shoes, she said, if their shoes are falling apart, like if a woman wears jacked up shoes, what does that say about them? Doesn't she realize how she's presenting herself to the world? If she's walking around like that, what does her home look like? You don't want to know.
No, I'm wearing my old flip-flops right now.
And so I wrote, I was clearly put on this earth to make other moms feel good about themselves.
That is the public service announcement that we provide.
And really, this book honestly made me feel kind of bad about myself. And maybe I should feel a little bad about myself, but it did. Like, I guess I'm defensive. So I wasn't in a good place to hear her advice. I think maybe in a few years, if I have more time to be me, I'll be more interested.
Yeah. I also think there's sort of a cultural thing too. It's like, I don't know, where we live and like being in the Northwest and where we are, I don't feel like everyone's getting dressed up at child pickup. And like, maybe that's because our children are not like in super fancy high schools and stuff. But it's like, I don't feel like the other mom, like, I don't feel a one-upsmanship at pickup. And maybe those things are true in LA. Like, it's a different world there than it is here. It's like, here I feel like people are just like, good for you for remembering to pick up your kid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a win.
Because on Friday, they get out an hour earlier. So sometimes you forget.
If you want us to get them. Why do you think the author chose this particular book title? I mean, it makes sense. I do think she should have used Housewives in the title, though, not just reality, because I guess back then reality wasn't as big of a category, but now it's like it encompasses so much that word doesn't hold as much power.
You're right. Housewives would have held more. Mm-hmm. And I actually really like the cover of the book. The picture of her I thought was beautiful. And then with Portia vacuuming up with all the goldfish on the floor.
Exactly.
I actually thought that was a really cute picture. And that picture I could kind of made me smile.
The cover made me want to read the book.
I was like, that kind of made me think of My Life, and I could laugh.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And they just have like the guy with the camera. Yeah. So it's like, I'm normal, but also you're seeing it on TV.
Yeah. So.
No, the cover was great. It's just when you got to like the part with the words, that was rougher. So would we give this Real Housewives on Real Housewives thumbs up? Thumbs down.
2 toe thumbs down.
I give also 2. My thumbs are green right now. Green thumbs down.
Yes.
Not green thumbs like with plants.
No,
nails are green.
She has green nails.
The only thing that I would say is you could get the book at the library and you could look through a list of the products she uses if you were like at all curious. Like I think that's the only
We told you the important ones.
But we told you the important ones.
L'Oreal.
Sorry. That's pretty much how we feel about it. And don't forget our questions are on the website. And then we're also going to look at Leah McSweeney's chaos theory because Leah's coming back in the Ultimate Girls Trip show. That's what's winning on our poll currently.
Oh, okay. I love Leah, so I'm really excited to read her book.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, Kyle.
Sorry.
I like they say bye, Kyle.
Or I liked you. I don't know.
That meme that's
I don't know. Okay. Just don't listen to this episode.
Yeah, and we may not read your sequel.
Yeah. When it comes out. God. I'm not reading it.
Maybe Mauricio should write like the guy version.
Oh,
like point counterpoint. He and Dorit's husband could do it together.
Oh, okay. If PK wrote it, I would read it because they would probably be hilarious.
Dorit to write a book.
Dorit and PK should write a book together.
For some reason, I feel like their book would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dorit wouldn't really try to be relatable. I think she would just be like, then put on your Chanel dress and you'd be like, and it's fun because it's her. Yeah. And she's like,
when you have like 8, $5,000 dresses in your closet you're excited to wear. Like, no, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that you have that.
Maybe. Like this was almost too real, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Bye too real, Kyle.
Bye too real, Kyle. See you guys. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe. And if you'd like to help support us, please share this podcast with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and a review. Thanks again, and remember to stay out of the shade.